Hi everyone, Jeremy Scott here. Welcome to the Re-Emerging Earth podcast. I'm out and about once again in my local park. So if you hear any background noise, it's a little bit windy today, but you may hear birds, cars, that kind of thing because I'm outside. If that's something that disturbs you in a podcast, then perhaps this isn't a podcast for you in that sense, because I like to do things a little bit differently. And this is a no-frills podcast that deals and talks about all things spiritual alongside original Japanese Reiki, which is how this podcast had started, but I've now expanded into the more spiritual side of things, because I think at these times that we're living in, that is more important as each day goes by. So yeah, I'm sitting here in the park, in a nice little spot, nice little enclave here surrounded by trees. And got a cup of coffee in my hand. Very nice coffee it is too. It's a little bit hot, which I got from local cafe here in the park as well. And I'm sitting here and I'm feeling quite grounded, and that is what I'd like to talk about today, about being grounded. So in the spiritual circles, as in spiritual world, as so to speak, and also in various styles of Reiki, we're taught how to be grounded in the different methods that we use to do that, and that can range from walking barefoot across grass and things like that, or in your garden, having your feet sort of immersed in the soil, if you like, and being grounded that way. It can also be imagining that you've got roots growing out of the soles of your feet, going down deep into the earth, and some say even all the way down to the crystal kingdom and things like that as well. That's all well and good for me. I mean, if, for example, you live in an apartment like I do, it's a bit difficult to imagine roots going down into the earth, because then you'd be going through your neighbour's apartments as well, and would that not be an intrusion? maybe not. I'm being a little bit facetious there, really. So for me, being grounded is just being in nature, being in a natural environment, and it's more to do with how you feel at that time. How heart-centered are you? These exercises that you get taught, they say that's to protect you from negativity and things like that, but there are also other protection exercises that you can use if you so desire, to enable you to be protected from any negative energy which may be going around, whether that's directed at you or as accidentally you may run into it or whatever it is. A thing to remember is that a lot of that negative energy actually comes from within ourselves. It comes from our own belief systems, negative belief systems. It comes from our own negative thinking, habits, actions that we do. So we generate that negative thinking and that negative energy in that sense. And from my law of attraction days, when I used to teach law of attraction, we would say that your thoughts are the ones, your words create your thoughts, and that generates the feeling, and that then results in what you attract into your life. And if you are thinking negative things, if you are getting riled up, if you are getting triggered about certain situations, you are creating that negative energy within yourself. So a lot of that negative energy that we have around us is already there, present within us. One point to remember is that we are all aspects of the grand whole, source, God, whatever you want to call it, all there is. We're all aspects of that consciousness, and everything around us is also an aspect of that consciousness, and that includes other people, and includes all things, living things, inanimate things. They're all part of that greater consciousness. So when you do these exercises, these grounding exercises, does it have any real effect in a real sense? Do you need to do them? If you believe you do, then you carry on. I'm not going to say that you're right or wrong. I'm just asking the question. For me, I feel that because we're all energy, if I'm putting down roots, where is that energy going to go into? You know, because it's just going into more energy in that sense. And maybe I'm being a bit analytical or logical about it, but that's just how I feel about it, you know. I'd rather, as I'm sitting here now, soaking up the vibes of the energy that's surrounding me, and that helps me to stay grounded. But what does it mean to be grounded? For me, it means to be centered in your heart, to gather that energy within your heart, the seat of all your emotions. That's where all your love, your feelings and compassion and everything like that, that's where it's all centered. To gather it there, that's where you're grounded in reality. And for me, I just, maybe it's because I'm not the very best in visualization as such. I am working on it, but you know, so I have difficulty imagining roots going down into the centre of the earth. And I always get the impression, well, yeah, but it'll just go through that energy and come out the other side. So that's just the way I look at it. So it doesn't really work for me. And a lot of these are just, for me, they're could be symbolism, but it could be what is it you call it? Not celebrations. Oh, the word will come to me in a moment. A lot of them are just things which have been added on to teaching just to fill them out. You know, it's like you get on some webinars, for example, and they're an hour long, but what they actually teach you will probably only take 15 minutes, but they fill it out with a lot of fluff. Yeah, so I just feel that a lot of these energy exercises, as in grounding exercises, are that bits of fluff that have been added on. You may have a different opinion, and I respect that. That's just from my personal point of view. That doesn't mean to say that I don't take part in grounding exercises. You know, if I'm being guided in a meditation to do so, then I will. You know, just for that experience, to try and maybe add something to my experience. But I feel a lot more grounded, a lot more centered when I focus on the heart. And you can do that. You don't have to be in nature to do that. Nature is a better place to do it because you're outside. But you can also do it whilst you're, inside, sitting on your bed, lying in your bed, sitting in a chair, watching TV. You know, if something comes up on the news that starts to trigger you, go to your heart, ground yourself there. You know, send out that love and compassion to that situation rather than being judgmental or unbalanced about it or getting triggered about it. So for me, grounding is being outside in nature, absorbing that positive energy that nature supplies, and clearing myself out of any negative thinking, any negative actions and so on, releasing those energies that are no longer needed, which no longer serve me and so on. Yeah, and I feel more grounded in that way than by trying to imagine that I'm like a tree or you know, or I'm just growing roots and things like that, or some other way that they use for grounding. Certainly with the Reiki system that I've been taught, we don't use grounding. Now, it is taught, but you don't have to use it, because that energy that you use for grounding, you can bring into yourself through your crown chakra. Universal life force energy flowing all the way through you, all the way down through your chakras to your root chakra and beyond. And that joins you back with the universe and the universal consciousness. And you can use that. You can also use that as a protection. You'd imagine that it's a bright white light of protection above you, if you wish, and it's coming down through your crown, filling your body and expanding then into the universe. And one thing I like to do is when I'm doing exercises like that, I like to imagine that I am the energy, and I visualize myself actually going into my crown and down through the different chakras or different parts of the body and then back out to the universe. And that's a wonderful experience as well for me. That helps to ground me as well, especially if I'm doing that, say, in my apartment or whatever. I just feel that there's a lot of things that have been added on, especially from say New Age and other modalities and so on, which work for those who do it and who believe in it. But I just feel that they are a little bit frivolous to me, a bit extra, and just like this podcast, I prefer things which don't have a lot of frills, which is why I went for the Usui Reiki system, because it doesn't have a lot of frills, a lot of attachments to it, a lot of symbolisms, a lot of I'm still not remembering the word I want. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. It'll come to me at some stage, the word that I'm looking for, where there's a lot of different actions, different exercises. You've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do this other thing as well. And while you're doing that, you've got to imagine this, and things like that. There's a lot of there we go. I've got a blank. I'm grounded. I'm not remembering anything at all now. Oh dear. Anyway, that's it. That's all I'm going to say for now. Then, I think I need my coffee and go for a walk around. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Stay grounded. Use your way. Find other ways to do it if it's something that's a fit for you. Like I said, the one way that I use is just to sit there and imagine that the universal life force energy is coming down through your crown chakra all the way down to the root, and then you can either say it's gone further into the earth, or as I do, and then I'm expanding out to the universe, and that helps to ground me in that way. Or just go out and sit in your local park, go for a walk in the woods, by the beach, wherever it happens to be, and just have a few moments of meditation, and that'll certainly ground you as well. Great to speak with you guys. Until next time, namaste.